Guys, real quick, just going to use this opportunity to shill my other platforms. You can find all my links on my Linktree page. The main pages I'm going to be using other than YouTube are going to be Minds, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, and Truth Social. So if you guys want to give me a follow over on those other platforms, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, everyone, what is up here today? YouTube, Jigsaw0097. This is another Eagles video. Of course, this is about the Philadelphia Eagles victory over the Houston Texans 29-17, which officially puts the Eagles at 8-0. And yeah, this was a really good game for many reasons. Probably not what a lot of people are saying, because I'm hearing a lot of people say that this was just another ugly win or whatever. The score does look like the Eagles were dominant, but yeah, it was kind of an ugly win. But you know what this game showed is that this team knows how to win. And, I was kind of looking at this game, I was pretty confident the Eagles would win, but I was kind of looking at this game before before the game started, like as one of those trap games. That's what I like to call it. This is why I always say any given Sunday, because you just never know with the NFL. The complete randomness of it cannot be understated. I mean, just look at the fact that the Bengals were in the Super Bowl last year. That just shows you how random the NFL is, because teams that you think are going to be good usually are not good, and then teams that you think are going to be bad are never as bad as you think. And so, looking at a desperate 1-5-1 Houston Texans team before this game, they're now 1-6-1, but before this game, they just looked like one of those teams that said, you know what, guys, we don't got anything to lose here. The Eagles have everything to lose, so we're just going to punch them in the mouth. And, that's the kind of games that these can devolve into very quickly. And if you look at the stats here, obviously that's kind of what it was. It was 7-7, then they scored 7-7, so that made 14-14 going into the half. The Eagles actually missed a field goal, and then the Eagles finally got ahead by scoring 7 in the third quarter, and then they scored 8 in the fourth quarter. But you can see it was a pretty consistent scoring spread out there. And in my opinion, not until really the fourth quarter did the Eagles have this in the bag, because something the Texans did very well is, one, they had a very good defense. They were sacking Jalen Hurts quite a bit. They found I forget the player on the Texans, but they found a matchup with Malata, and they were able to exploit that. And then also the Houston offense was just bowling over us in terms of their running game. And number 15 on the Texans, sorry I'm forgetting names, guys, but he was really good as well. I could actually probably just look this up in the stats here. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to be a professional here, okay? So yeah, their running back is Dameon Pierce. He was doing really well against us. Rex Burkhead had like a couple runs that were really good, and then Chris Moore, he was the guy that was doing really well also. So those are really their main guys. And then their quarterback, Davis Mills, he had 13 for 22, 2 TDs, 2 INTs. Yeah, those INTs are huge, actually. We'll get into those, because CJ Garner-Johnson got yet another interception. I think they said he leads the league now in interceptions. I'd have to look that up to be sure. But he's been a freak for the Eagles, just absolutely amazing. He reminds me of like a Roddy McLeod, like when the Eagles had him, or even Robinson, when we had Robinson during the Super Bowl year. He's just one of those players that we just grabbed, and he's been absolutely fantastic. So I really, every week I'm looking for him. Him and Darius Slay together is just like a duo from hell for an opposing offense. But yeah, we'll get to the Eagles stats, because you guys really want to know about that, I'm sure. Jalen Hurts, once again, looked fantastic. Now, he did have a fumble, and I don't think they're showing that here, but they're showing 0 INTs. But he did have a strip sack on him, and so I think that was the third strip sack of the year for him. But he was 21-27, very good, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. We had a Miles Sanders touchdown. We had a Kenneth Gainwell touchdown. My man, Kenneth Gainwell. I always love seeing those. We had a Dallas Goedert touchdown, which, by the way, Dallas Goedert, 100 yards in and of himself with 8 receptions. He was looking like Zach Ertz of old today. A.J. Brown had a touchdown, of course. And then we'll go to the defense real quick. The interceptions were James Bradbury. This one was kind of in garbage time. But, yeah, Chauncey Gardner, C.J. Gardner, he did amazing. He got a really, really sick interception about mid-game, and it was kind of a momentum shift because I think, yeah, the Eagles, they got it at like the Texans 30, and they ended up scoring a touchdown to A.J. Brown that drive. So that was huge. That was an absolute momentum shift right there. But then, yeah, we'll go to the mirror stats here. So the Eagles had 360 yards to the Texans 303, so pretty match there. 217 passing yards to 135. Again, this was this was kind of reminded me a little bit of the Steelers game because they went a lot more towards the pass this time. But that's something that I really like about the Eagles is that they can mix it up because they use Miles Sanders as their workhorse, and then I think, like I said, I wish they would use Kenneth Gainwell more, but they use Miles Sanders a lot to kind of establish drives, and then they go pass heavy, and they're really good at this because both of their offensive styles are such a threat that opposing defenses always have to look out for that. And so yeah, they had 143 rushing yards to 217 passing yards, very good. 24 first downs. Let's see. So sacks allowed, 4, I think, is what that says. I can never tell if this is the Eagles. So they had 4 and the Texans had 3. So again, the Jalen Hurts did get sacked quite a bit in this game. And then there it is, fumbles lost 1. So yeah, the Eagles, I guess that's what they did. The Eagles allowed 4 sacks. So Jalen Hurts got sacked 4 times. And then the time of possession, the Eagles were only had it for 28 to Houston's 31. So yeah, that's kind of the stats I wanted to go over, and then I'll just kind of give my thoughts about this game and the Eagles at 8-0. This is a really good football team, guys. I mean, there's no other way to say it. As you'll see in the thumbnail, this team just keeps winning. They find ways to win. That's another thing that I just love about them is that they'll get punched in the mouth early. This has happened like 5 or 6 times now. They're never really losing games, but they're always like right there with the team. This game reminded me a lot more of the Cardinals game, but they were able to like break away more at the end. And so this was really this was a game that kind of showed that they've learned a lot. Like every game that they go through, they continue to learn. And yeah, I wanted to go over all their games real quick because it's interesting. So Detroit Lions, they beat them 38-35. We all know that was probably one of the craziest games all year. The Minnesota Vikings, that was one of the games I was actually the most afraid of when I first analyzed the schedule. They beat them 24-7, but again, that was another game where they were in it the whole time. The Washington Commanders, that was actually the one game this year that I didn't watch. I know that Wentz got sacked like 8 times, but I didn't actually watch that and make a video on it. So that one I'm not exactly sure what happened because I didn't watch the whole game, but they still won 24-8. So that one looks like they had that one pretty handily, sorry. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars game, I did watch that one, and that was one of the most impressive wins of the year. The Arizona Cardinals, see again, 20-17. They barely won that because of a missed punt, really, at the end that forced it to not go into overtime. And then the Dallas Cowboys, we handled them pretty well, 26-17. But I remember that was kind of a battle. Pittsburgh Steelers was probably the only game where I would say we just blew a team out. And then the Texans, we did the score 29-17. We did blow them out according to the paper there, the paper score, but it was much more dicey than that because a lot of those points were scored in garbage time. So yeah, at 8-0, guys, they've just found ways to win. I mean, Jalen Hurts himself right here, he's averaging like 200 yards a game, which is amazing. We've got Miles Sanders, he's averaging about 50 to 60 rushing yards a game. And then we've got Brown, he had the high reception, Goder, Smith, like they're just spreading the ball around very well in that regard. And it does show, again, other than the Cardinals game, Hurts was the #1 rusher in that game, but they really rely on Miles Sanders to be the workhorse on this team. So I don't know, guys. I'm very impressed. Like I said, I would like to give it to Kenneth Gainwell more, maybe spread it around. But if Miles Sanders is working, he's like the LaShawn McCoy of the Eagles now. So he's the guy that they're going to go to. And he very much is like Shady McCoy in his prime. He's just a very quick, speedy guy. And that's their workhorse running back. And then the last thing I wanted to go over, guys, is just the NFC standings now. So Eagles 8-0, Cowboys 6-2, Giants 6-2. Commanders 4-4. So we're going to see more after Sunday, but the Eagles are very much ahead in the division right now, and they keep winning. And they play the Washington. Yeah, we actually play Washington. I forget about this. So we play them on Monday the 14th. So that's going to be a while from now. But right there, we've got a chance to, knock them down a peg. Then we play the Colts. Then we play the Packers. Then we play the Titans. And then finally we play the Giants. So the Eagles, they have 4 really nice games here where they can get some solid wins, which I'm hoping they do. Like I said, I'm not going to go ahead and predict guaranteed wins because that's just not how I work. I'm an any given Sunday guy, but I think they have a good chance to sweep Washington this year. And then the Colts, that one should be a win. The Packers, I'm not really hot on them like everybody else. I think the Packers are trash, so that should be a win. And then the Titans will probably be a pretty tough one, but you never know. You never know, because that's another thing. When teams are losing a bunch and then they're going up, I think every win that stacks up for the Eagles, it just puts more and more of a target on their head, because we are the best team in football. Like, they keep saying that, oh, they're the best team in football, at least record-wise. It's like, no, no, no. We are the best overall team in football. Look at our defense. Look at our offense. We've got interceptions galore on the defensive side. You know, our D-line is one of the most elite in the league. Then on the offensive side, we've got amazing rushing, and we've got just spreading the ball to every receiver on the field with Jalen Hurts. So we are the best team in football right now. It's easy to say. The only one that I could say if we go to the other conference is like the Bills and the Chiefs are on par. But right now, at least according to what I've seen, the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. Record be damned. So anyway, guys, that is all I have to say about this game. It was a very impressive win yet again. I'm just loving the hell out of this Eagles season. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, like this video. Really helps the algorithm. Appreciate it. And then the last thing, as always, I'm going to plug my new tech platforms, as you saw in the beginning of the video. Go ahead and check out those other platforms. They are much better than YouTube. And so you can have a lot of fun over there. I might even start making videos exclusive to those other platforms, because I don't really know what I can say on YouTube. I have a bunch of videos that I've actually made that are more political, but I don't want to release them on YouTube because I don't know what they're going to do to them. I don't want to nuke my channel from orbit. That's why I'm kind of focusing more on the Eagles for now. But if you guys are interested in any other kinds of content like that, like I said, please go check those out. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, this has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.